What is the point where an earthquake occurs called? The hypocenter. What is the effect caused by Earth's rotation that makes moving objects in the northern hemisphere deflect to the right? Coriolis effect. When we say the immune system is strong, what does that imply? That it responds effectively to pathogens. Which element has atomic number 1 on the periodic table? Hydrogen. What components mainly make up a robot's drive system? Motors. What is the system called in which nerves from the brain and spinal cord spread throughout the body? The peripheral nervous system. Which organelle synthesizes proteins according to genetic information? Ribosome. What is the approximate speed of sound in air in meters per second? Approximately 340 meters per second. Which gas law states that for an ideal gas at constant volume, pressure is proportional to temperature? Charles's law. Which type of gene mutation involves a single nucleotide being replaced by another nucleotide? Point mutation. What layer have plants developed on the leaf surface to adapt to dry environments? Cuticle layer. What kind of information do sensory organs receive? Stimuli. What can happen to a gas if its temperature is lowered? It can become a liquid or a solid. What is produced around a current-carrying conductor? Magnetic field. What is the process called in which organisms change over time to adapt to their environment? Evolution. Why are fossils often found in sedimentary rocks? Because organisms were buried and preserved. What is the phenomenon called when water vapor in the atmosphere condenses near the surface? Fog. Which factor most strongly affects the speed of sound? The temperature of the medium. Which brain region controls heart rate and breathing? Medulla oblongata. What do you call a material that conducts electricity well? A conductor. What is the largest planet in the solar system? Jupiter. If there were no friction at all, what would happen to a moving object? It would continue in uniform linear motion. What is the point on the surface closest to the hypocenter called? The epicenter. What tissue protects the tip of a plant root and where cell division is active? Root cap. What automotive safety device uses the compressibility of gases? Airbag. What is the product of the force applied to an object and the distance the object moves called? Work. What is the Earth's force that causes objects to fall downward called? Gravity. In wave interference, under what condition does constructive interference occur? When the phases are the same. What are the dark spots that appear on the surface of the Sun called? Sunspots. Which enzyme begins the digestion of carbohydrates in the human digestive process? Amylase. What does Archimedes' principle describe? The buoyant force experienced by an object in a fluid. What reproductive cells are produced by the stamens of a flower? Pollen. What principle states that when the velocity of a fluid increases as it passes through a pipe, the pressure decreases? Bernoulli's principle. Why does each person have a different voice? Differences in the vocal cords and resonance characteristics. What is the state change called when snow melts into water? Melting. In a thermodynamic process, what does a change in enthalpy signify? Heat exchange at constant pressure. Why does Mercury's surface have many craters? The absence of a substantial atmosphere. What is the basic unit that composes living organisms? The cell. In which direction does frictional force always act? Opposite to the direction of motion. If an atom loses electrons, what kind of ion does it become? Cation. Thanks for watching all the way through. Share your science knowledge in the comments. Your support helps us create even more science quizzes. See you in the next one.